there, welcome to Extra Healthy-ish, your podcast from Body & Soul. I'm your host, Felicity Harley. Now, we've been celebrating 2021 this past week to give you, our dear listeners, the most listened to Extra Healthy-ish episodes. Yes, the ones you loved, we needed to give you a rerun. I'm not surprised, Sam Wood is on it. You know Sam Wood, right? He's one of our top health and fitness experts. He runs the hugely successful online program 28 by Sam Wood. Now, I love this episode because he talks about goal setting and fatherhood, which is kind of ironic now because his partner Snez is, well, she's going to give birth next year. Actually, that is a good point. Let's get him back on next year. But anyway, in the meantime, over to Sam to talk about goal setting. Well, Sam, thank you so much for coming on Extra Healthy-ish. Now, what I want to know is, how do you stay healthy-ish in life? What's your what's your number one health tip that you incorporate into your daily routine?
Yeah, it's a really good question. Look, in my 20s, I was far more focused on six packs and body fat, and I definitely think there was more of a vanity factor to it. I'm happy to put my hand up and own that. Now that I'm 40 and have 3 kids and have probably never been busier and more sleep deprived, there's definitely more of a balanced approach. My whole philosophy with my 28 program is progress, not perfection. So making little bits of progress continually and hopefully finishing each month or finishing each quarter a bit healthier and fitter and stronger than I was before, but not really worrying. I honestly wouldn't have weighed myself in 3 years probably. I kind of go by how I feel. I go by how I'm sleeping. I go by
how
how my clothes fit.
Yeah, that's a good one, isn't it?
My clothes fit. That's a good one. And I also will admit too, last year, by the end of last year, I was probably in the worst shape of my life. I don't know. It was kind of, it all sort of snuck up on me with little Charlie being born and never really recovering, and COVID and all of that kind of stuff. And I definitely was drinking too many beers and not exercising anywhere near hard enough or often enough. But I've pulled my finger out in 2021 and I'm slowly but surely getting back on track.
I love that because it shows that you're actually human. You're like the rest of us. You have a baby, you don't get any sleep, you think I'll just reach for a beer. Yeah. And then it just, you in COVID, like Melbourne and, so yeah, reset, right?
So I posted a fairly unflattering photo of myself in my underpants to my 60,000 28ers on the 3rd of January. And I said, here I am with my hand up, we're all in this together and we're going to work in 28-day blocks, and I'm going to do another photo and another post in 28 days' time, but enough's enough. And it was just amazing how it sort of sneaks up on you. I didn't feel like I was leading an unhealthy life, but there was a whole lot of little things sort of creeping in. So I addressed those and, lost a couple of kilos, I would have thought. I still didn't even weigh myself, but I could just sort of tell that I was getting a bit leaner, a bit stronger, a bit fitter. Was definitely more consistent and more in the zone, and did that for a couple of months. So what are we? We're 10 weeks in now since I've done that post, or a bit longer. What are we? Nearly 3 months.
And you're feeling better?
Definitely feeling more like myself.
Yeah, nice. And what's one big life goal? It doesn't have to be fitness. It can be anything that you're really proud of that you've achieved in your 40 years.
Oh, look, I think the biggest one outside of my family, the thing I'm probably most proud of is, taking care of my girls. I'm not saying I'm an amazing husband and amazing dad, but I have an incredibly close relationship with Snez and the girls, and that's something I'm really, really proud of. And building the 28 business. I just, we've gone from me in my gym and a couple of web developers in a separate studio to now having 29 full-time staff working out of our headquarters here in Melbourne, and we have 500,000 Australians have done the program. And it's not about the numbers, it's about the results that those people have gotten. And I really feel, even though COVID kind of brought it more to people's attention, the amount of mums and the amount of people who have needed an at-home option that have really benefited from being able to not have to go to the gym and do my program over the last 5 years, and just the longevity, average 28er stays well over a year. And we've had people that joined when we launched over 5 years ago and still haven't left the program. And that's what I'm most proud of, because I've always said it should be sustainable. You know, there's a lot of extreme programs out there where, you know, it's pretty hardcore and you might lose some weight in a 4-week period or an 8-week period, but it's not really sustainable. And what we're most proud of is that these 28ers have really learnt these healthy habits. You know, it's had really nice positive halo effect into other areas of their life, you know, being good role models to their children, becoming better in the kitchen, mental health benefits. And, you know, that's sort of what I'm all about. It's great to look better in your undies and lose a few kilos on the scales, but it's about all the other benefits to our well-being and mental and physical health and happiness that's most important.
Yeah, it's just like a ripple effect, isn't it? If you get that kind of right, then everything will kind of fall into place.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll be back after this. And what about fatherhood? What do you find most enriching about fatherhood? I mean, you sound like such a proud dad, and I love hearing men talk about, you know, their role as a father and the evolving role that they have in, you know, their kids' lives. So what do you love most about it? And what kind of father are you?
Oh, I'm pretty hands-on. Our girls Evie is nearly 16, so she's developing into a very strong-minded, beautiful young woman. She's just finished her rowing for the season, and I've never seen her so committed and dedicated to something. So incredibly proud of her for doing that. It was far from easy what she did, and she really got out of her comfort zone and couldn't be more proud of her. And our 2 little ones, Willow just started kinder. She's the most curious, funny. She's very, very verbal and little chatterbox. And Charlie's a bit more physical. Charlie's more action and rough and tumble and a bit crazy and a bit fearless and doesn't say much. So, I mean, she's much younger, but I love actually seeing how much you can impact who they become. And I just love how they change almost by the day. You know, I was away for the weekend to see my family in Tassie, and even after 2 days, little Charlie had changed, you know, at only 20 months old. And it just, when you can see someone before your eyes change that often and that much and just develop into the most beautiful little person, it's, there's something really special about it.
How do you navigate the juggle? I mean, you're hands-on, but you also have a, you know, big empire, the Samwood empire, dare I call it. How do you navigate that juggle? Because I know a lot of fathers do struggle with that. They want to be there for their, and mothers. I'm not discounting mothers. Don't you worry. Yeah. But just from a father's point of view.
Yeah, it's funny. People always say, "Oh, Sam, how do you get the balance so right?" And I think, truthfully, the honest answer is I don't. You know, like it's always a balance of working too hard and then feeling guilty that you're not home enough, or being home too much and then feeling like you're not probably pushing hard enough from a business perspective when there's so many exciting opportunities at hand. But I mean, realistically, it's all Snez. You know, without her, none of it would, you know, the family would be in disarray and the business would be in disarray, if I'm being honest. You know, she allows me to have some form of balance, and she's the most incredible mum and wife ever. And she's got her own things with business going on as well. It's not like she's just sitting at home. She's super busy and really helps with 28. And she's a pretty special person. Somehow manages to survive on very little sleep and doesn't ever seem to break down. But I'm on a case a bit about it, because I do worry that eventually she will. But she's a stubborn Macedonian woman who doesn't take advice very well. So yeah, that's the only thing we fight about is me telling her to get more sleep.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, that's a bit lovely words. So finally, what's happening in your world other than, you know, the 28 by Sam Wood and the ANZ connection? What else are you working on? What are you concocting? I feel like we're about to hear from you again. Are we? Tell us. No?
Yeah. Oh, no, there's lots. I mean, it's all sort of around the 28 stuff. It's kind of, last year was a, you know, really revolutionary year for the business, with so many people kind of for the first time experiencing digital fitness or at-home fitness, almost through necessity. But so many of those people, I think, realised how good it was, and that, you know, I actually train far more often if I can wake up and press my phone and do it in my bedroom than if I have to get up and go to the gym. And it's actually incredible, these online communities that you can have that can support you, and didn't understand the food component. So for us, we've got new trainers coming onto the program. We've got 4 new trainers coming on board. We've got a whole new workout series. We've got continued new recipes. We're doing a lot of work in the mental health space, and we've really got a lot of corporate partnerships happening as well. So we've also just moved into our brand new house. So it's all going
busy
on, both on the personal front and the professional front. I don't know, everyone sort of says she's so busy, but I kind of like it that way. I get a bit bored if I'm not. And yeah, it's been a crazy wave since The Bachelor 5.5 years ago, and I can't see it slowing down anytime soon.
I sometimes forget about that. Like when I was actually researching for this podcast, I was like, of course, you're The Bachelor. I feel like you've done so much since, and you've really, you know, you've come into your own and made your own business in your own right. And I think, gosh, that was only 5 years ago. So congratulations on all you've done. And thank you so much for coming on Extra Healthyish. And we'll chat to you soon.
My absolute pleasure. Thanks so much for having me.
Hope you enjoyed this chat and you got something out of it, got some tips so you can lead an extra healthy-ish life. If you want more interviews, insights and extra healthy advice for your mind, body and soul, make sure you download our shorter podcast called Healthy-ish. There are a ton of episodes up there and I know you'll love those. For more info, head to bodyandsoul.com.au or join the conversation via Body and Soul on Instagram or Facebook. Thank you so much for joining me, for joining us this year. It is a privilege to bring you these amazing interviews every day. Oh, and if you have a moment, make sure you jump on and rate, review and subscribe to this podcast. And wishing you a happy, extra healthy-ish new year.